What's up everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. It's time for another video. I've been wanting to put more content on this channel and I'm just not always exactly sure what to do. I do have a new problems I have within the works, and today I'm going to be doing something that I've been meaning to do for about the past month, and I am finally getting to it, and that, as you saw from the title of the video, is the vinyl tag. Now, if you're familiar with some of these tag type videos, some of them I don't care for, but others of them are cool because you get to see insight into maybe a certain subject, and here today, obviously, you're going to get to learn more about my record collection. There's 20 questions. I will post them in the comment section down below if you would like to do the tag yourself. If you would like to answer the questions in the comments section, it would be cool to see how you guys respond to them. Me personally, I had a tough time at least narrowing it down, so let's go ahead and start off with the first question. Be sure to leave a like on the video and let me know what else you would like to see on Beyond ARTV. How many records do I own? I currently own 188 albums. That includes my 10 inches, my 12 inches, and my 7 inches. All of those combined together make for 188. I currently use and absolutely love my Audio-Technica AT-LP60. This was a record player that my mom got me for Christmas a couple of years ago, and I will never go back to Crosley after that. I know I've defended people buying a Crosley before. I don't think that they are necessarily a good record player. I didn't have horrible experiences with mine, but at the same time, I was kind of scared to play records like multiple times on that thing just because they do have a tendency to scratch. So now I have my automated AT-LP60. It's awesome. You can press start and it puts the needle down where you need it to. Easy to adjust if you want to skip around to different tracks and that sort of thing. Easy stop-start features, and I love mine. I started collecting records whenever I was 20 years old, almost 21, but just got my first one whenever I was 20. I actually had my mom buy one for me because I saw that it was coming out right before Christmas, and I was like, oh, this would make for a cool first record, but we'll get to what that was in just a minute. Currently, the oldest record that I own is Led Zeppelin 4. This originally came out in 1971, and this pressing is from around then. I know that I could say, oh, I've got the Beatles Revolver, but that is a repressing. This, for the vinyl tag, you want to say the oldest in terms of the actual physical condition of the record. I keep this one in a sleeve. I know some people keep all of theirs in a sleeve, but I've never cared to do that. Maybe I totally should, but you can see possibly how old and vintage this looks. I don't want to slide it all the way out. I normally only take it out if I'm going to listen to it. You can see the edges of it are a little bit yellowed, a little bit frayed perhaps, and that is just showing signs of age, but at the same time, I really like it, and it's got the whole gateway fold there as well. My second runner-up to that would be my Boston record. I found that one years ago in a bargain bin, and that came out in 1976. The first record that I ever got was Panic at the Disco's A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Unfortunately, this is not my original copy of that. This is just the black repressing. Without going into too much details, I had a friend that helped me move, and he dropped my gold copy of the record, which is now selling for like $200 on eBay, Amazon, Discogs, wherever you look. This right here is the first ever record that I bought with my own money. It's the Naked and Famous with their debut album, Passive Me, Aggressive You. This is a New Zealand alternative band, and I've been a little bit more mixed on their newer stuff, but this was definitely a fantastic record, one that at the time I was just front to back in love with. And not that I'm not now, it's just that I haven't come back to it as much in recent years, but just hearing some songs from time to time come up on shuffle, it reminds me of how much I just fell for that album. I fell head over heels, and I loved it all the way from the opening and kind of weird all of this to like No Way, that was a little bit more 80s-esque, and even some of the ending songs like Girls Like You, those big bombastic 80s style drums. I love that they were able to infuse electronic, 80s, and alternative and make a fantastic record. My favorite colored vinyl goes to the Black Parade Bone Splatter Edition by My Chemical Romance. I can't remember if this was a Hot Topic pressing or not, because unfortunately I had to buy a copy online. I think I got it off of Amazon. It was being sold as new, but I didn't even know that this version existed. But whenever I received this, I was like, oh my god, this thing is perfect. And I know that some people will go for like the big colors or something that's just really bright, or 8 colors in one or anything like that, but I really just feel like this one holds its own. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I wanted to give a runner-up though to Blink-182's California. This was the rarest edition of the original pressing of the record before the deluxe came out, and this is on just solid purple. But I don't even know if the camera does it justice, honestly, because this thing is just a really pretty purple. Maybe it's just because purple is like my favorite color, but this and my pressing of Pretty Odd are just flawless to me. I love seeing these things on the turntable. For my favorite discount record, I picked Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. This came out in 1977, and this is one of the original pressings of the album. You can tell, once again, kind of by, obviously you can't feel it. It feels much different than a current record, but you can tell once you pull it out, it doesn't normally come in wax paper that looks this old, unless somebody was trying really, really hard to replicate it, and it is, of course, on standard black vinyl. I love this record. It's absolutely a classic, obviously. It's sold like 15, 16 million copies in the US alone, and this is one of the defining records of the 70s and even into the 80s. It stands the test of time because songs on here are absolutely timeless. The themes, the way that they are composed, everything like that. I love how all of the members of the band came together, and I actually found this in a bargain bin back when I was living in Wilmington, North Carolina at the beach. This was only $5, and I was super excited to find it. Prized possession could actually go to 2 different things for me, because there's one that I haven't ever opened before, and then there's one that I have, but I'm actually using as another answer, so you will see. One of them is a box set, and I will show that for my answer for a favorite gift that I've ever received, but this one is American Idiot, my prized possession. Obviously my favorite album of all time. I have an opened copy that I listened to on vinyl. It's on black vinyl, and that was actually one of the first albums that I ever owned. My mom had to order it from overseas because at the time it wasn't available in the US, and she got it to me for Christmas of 2012, right after I got Panic at the Disco Fever, You Can't Sweat Out. But this one is on red, white, and black vinyl. I've never opened this thing. I found it at the record store 1 or 2 years ago, and I was so excited, but to this day, I've just had this mental debate, like, am I ever gonna open this thing? Am I? And clearly I haven't yet. I love this thing. It is probably my prized possession in my vinyl collection. For a record by a female artist, I selected Courtney Barnett with her album Sometimes I Sit and Think, and Sometimes I Just Sit. Actually, off camera, you can't even see it. Maybe you can see the edge of it there. That's actually the poster that came with this final album. Just hangs just out of sight in all of my videos. This is an excellent record, one that I was very much late to the party on, but as Courtney said, nobody really cares if you go to the party. Oh, a record from my favorite band, you say? Well, I've got you covered with Green Day's Nimrod. Interesting story behind this one. If you didn't see my vinyl update whenever I revealed this one, this is a yellow copy on the Hot Topic exclusive. This came out years ago, but I got really lucky on this one. This is another one of, I guess my prized possessions, because I got lucky to even find it in the first place. Hot Topic stopped selling it because they sold out, but apparently one of the retail associates, I asked, I was like, what is this doing here? Whenever I found it in a Hot Topic in 2016, I guess it was, and she said, oh, we found it in the back, and then we had to put it out for sale, and it was just sitting there with some of the other vinyl that they have, and unfortunately they don't really sell vinyl in stores anymore, Hot Topic. I don't know why, considering the vinyl resurgence, but I found this one just sitting there, and obviously I instantly took it to the cash register. Oh, I've got plenty of impulse buys. Some of those I have sold off, some of them I have traded, that sort of thing. Some of them I have done in giveaways for ARTV. But I'm going to put this one up because it was one of the more pricey impulse buys, but one that I do not regret whatsoever. Stadium Arcadium by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You can see it comes in like an almost binder type thing here. And once it comes out, it's got the 2 discs. Obviously, this album was a double album, and you've got part 1, part 2, the 2 different planets, and it's a very, very cool concept. And this record, honestly, I was so excited whenever it first came out in 2006. I was just getting into music and the Chili Peppers, and I loved it then, but then I kind of fell off with it because I was like, some of this is kind of boring. But I got back into it whenever I bought this on vinyl. Prized possessions. That's right, we've got one right here. The box set, there's the top of the box set at least. A Wolf Alice, My Love Is Cool. This not only came with their debut album, My Love Is Cool, on black vinyl, which I already had, so I ended up giving away the other copy in one of my live streams, I believe. But we also obviously have Blush. There goes my monetization for this video because boobs. And then we've got obviously the Creature Songs EP as well. And it came with a CD with some rarities on it, some songs that I had never even heard before. They are on here: Destroy Me, Wednesday, Every Cloud. The coolest thing about this box set is actually how I got it, and I'm so thankful to my girlfriend, who you guys know as Infinity on Hannah, that bought this for me, but also Sean from Rewind Reviews. He ended up sending this album to us because we could not buy it. It was in the UK only because the US edition sold out. So he bought it, we paid him back for it, or Hannah did, and then he shipped it from the UK to the US to me. So that was awesome. Thank you to Hannah, thank you to Sean. My most played record on vinyl is definitely Portugal the Man's Evil Friends. This is something that I just listened to last week. I got this in 2013, 2014, like right after it came out, and this was my favorite record of the year in 2013. I'm excited about their new album, Woodstock, and this was a really just captivating listen, one that totally took me by surprise, but it sounds so good on vinyl in particular. It just has that aesthetic and that appeal that it sounds like it should be played on vinyl. It's kind of got a hipster attitude about it, but I love the way that the vocals and the lyrics come across as just so cynical, so biting and snarky, a lot of commentary, and the musicianship here is just top-notch. I would count this one as a very rare record, even though it has been repressed now. I didn't know that. I wish somebody had told me before I spent a lot of money on this. But here we have Louder Now, the original pressing from 2006 whenever it came out. I think there's only like 1,000 copies of this, maybe 500 in existence. I keep this one in a sleeve just because it is very rare, and this is an album that really helped shape my music taste. I got into this, like, obviously right when it came out. I was super stoked after hearing Make Damn Sure, the lead single. And I can still come back to this and it just puts a smile on my face. I could answer this as the nostalgic question, but I'm gonna go with the rare record just because it is kind of limited in the way that you can get this one. I don't know how limited the repressing was, but I'm happy to have it either way. On to question number 16, a rainy day album, and this is Currents by Tame Impala. I wish that it was the purple pressing because I've seen it, and good God, it looks beautiful, but this is the black pressing, and I still love it, once again because it sounds great on a turntable, and it does sound even better somehow if it's stormy, rainy, that sort of thing, because this is a very vibe-centric record. Just look at that. Oh, psychedelia mixed with indie, alternative, rock, and pop, the elements of everything that make for your good rainy day playlist. I always cheer up whenever I hear No Doubt's Tragic Kingdom. This album came out originally in 1996 whenever they burst onto the scene. Gwen Stefani at the helm behind the vocals here, and she really just took this band into stardom. Obviously, you cannot downplay the musicianship of her band members here because that popping bass all throughout, that is some of the most bass-heavy stuff that you were hearing at that time. Kind of mixing ska, reggae, rock, and pop all in one. I'm sure people are already questioning, why is this your nostalgic record, John? Like, why would you hold up Neighborhoods by Blink-182? Well, first of all, this is the pink pressing, which I believe was for breast cancer research or something like that. I'm not sure. I had to grab it on eBay whenever I saw it for a great price because I never got my hands on a pressing of Neighborhoods until last fall. But this thing is phenomenal. And to me, it's something that really changed my mind. And I see this as coming at a very seminal time in my life. It just kind of marks marked a turning point for me. I started to be more open-minded. It came out whenever I was 19 years old, which is crazy to think about how long ago that was at this point, 6 years ago. But this record is something that really caught my attention for being very different for Blink. And initially I was like, this isn't punk, this isn't what I want. But now, this is one of my absolute favorite Blink-182 albums, and this is the deluxe edition, of course, which has the track listing that I prefer. I don't have a ton of record store day purchases just because there's not always a ton of stuff that I'm interested in owning on vinyl. I'm pretty picky about stuff that I actually buy. I generally only tend to buy stuff that I really, really love, but this came out for Record Store Day 2015, and I was actually out of the country on Record Store Day. I was in Canada, but I managed to go to a record store day around Niagara Falls, I believe it was, and I picked up a copy of Get Behind Me, Satan. I remember calling several stores the night before, and I was like, do you have this? And now I can see that this is selling for a pretty high price. I will show you what it looks like in just a second, but first of all, it's holographic and it changes. I can't tell if you can see the changes in the faces that whenever you tilt it from side to side. And then on the back cover, you've got this really cool vintage picture, Jack, Meg, oh yeah. And then of course, you've got the vinyl itself. There's the white one, and not only is it white, but it is also red, and that fits the aesthetic of this time period in the white stripes perfectly. And also, for another record store that I picked that I wanted to show you, I also have the broken record of Ain't It Fun by Paramore. It's actually a 7-inch, but it's disguised because you can see, oh, what's this huge chunk here? Well, it's really just the 7-inch that actually plays, but it actually tricks my record player, so I have to move it manually. Ooh, some people are going to be very jealous and hate me for this one, but for a recent purchase, I have WATERPARKS with Double Dare. This is literally my most recent purchase. It just came in the mail, and here we have it, the first ever pressing. They're actually going to be releasing a few colors, and I think they're going to be releasing like the standard black to retail, but literally the first run, I got so lucky. I saw it like 5 minutes after they tweeted it, and I got one of only 100 in existence. This is the first ever run, the first ever color that they did, and here it is. It's kind of this purple, red, blue splatter thing, and it looks so beautiful. I actually listened to it last night on vinyl before doing this video, and it sounded really, really great. There was one skip, but I'm gonna say it's okay because the record is so good and so pretty. That's it, guys. All 20 questions answered. Let me know what you thought about the vinyl tag in the comments section down below. Jealous of anything in my collection? What would you steal? Or let me know how you would answer these questions, or do a video of your own and share it with me. Just leave it in the comments section down below, or else hit me up on Twitter at ARTV Reviews. Don't forget to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you're able to, support me on Patreon by clicking that little annotation over in the corner of the screen. It really helps out on a monthly basis. Here's a recent record video that I did, or a recent video just from Beyond ARTV in general. Socials in the description, and I'll see you very soon.